All right, let's talk about building bigger biceps. Now, I get a lot of people that come to me and say, James, I'm getting stronger, I'm using heavier weight, but I just can't get my biceps to grow. What do you suggest? So I'm going to share with you 2 things that I incorporate into my own training. These are pretty universal tips. You can apply them to just about every biceps exercise. So first one we want to talk about, and this is an important one, is going to be tension throughout the range of motion. Now, tell me if you've ever seen this in the gym. Someone doing curls like this. You'll see a little bit of body movement here. They're kind of slinging it up a little bit. Now, we know that we're not supposed to use momentum here, but we're all guilty of it every now and then, or at least at one point in our training. But what's the problem with this? Besides someone just telling you, you need to use better technique, what's the actual issue with this? Well, there's 2 things here. First one is, we are robbing ourselves of tension through this range of motion here in the very beginning because we're swinging it. So that momentum is carrying through, so we don't have as much tension here in the beginning of the range of motion as we could if we use better form. The second part of it is when we use momentum, look at the position of my elbow relative to my body. Now, in this position here, you can see I'm kind of locked out. I don't have a lot of resistance here at the top of the range of motion, the peak of the contraction. I can kind of sit here all day because I'm locked out. Our resistance is coming from this weight and gravity, right, in a vertical plane. So watch what happens if I push my elbow back just a little bit. Now here at the peak of the contraction, I've got a lot of resistance. So putting those 2 things together, eliminating the swing, we've got good tension here in the first half of the range of motion, and by keeping that elbow back, we've got good tension throughout the second half of the range of motion. And that's what we're aiming for, is trying to get tension throughout as much of that range of motion as possible. So imagine doing any kind of exercise where you only have tension in half of the range of motion. Not exactly going to be the most effective exercise. So number 2, this is going to be related. This is time under tension. So going back to our person in the gym who's just kind of slinging these up, let's count rep speed, right? It's about a 1 second rep, right? That means we have 1 second potentially of time under tension per rep. Now we want to have about 30 seconds of time under tension per set, ideally, to build muscle. But if we take 10 reps and multiply it by 1 second, what do we get? That's right, 10 seconds of time under tension. It's not ideal. But if we slow down, now we use that same kind of disciplined form, controlling that concentric, and then controlling that eccentric, and even focusing on that little bit of isometric squeeze there at the top. Now we can get closer to 3 seconds of time under tension per rep, multiplied by that same 10 reps. Now we've got 30 seconds of time under tension. So those are 2 really easy things that you can incorporate into just about every biceps exercise you do. Matter of fact, you can incorporate this into any exercise you do. These are very universal tips here, but I see it more in biceps. Look, it's fun to sling a lot of weight. It's fun to, feel strong, but it's not just about moving heavy weight. I addressed that in the beginning, right? You're feeling stronger, you're moving a lot more weight, but the muscle's not growing. Well, it's because it's not just about moving a lot of weight. It's about making the muscle work harder. And there's other ways to make the muscle work harder than just progressively always trying to lift heavier and heavier. So we can control our form. That can make it harder. Time under tension, that can make it harder. So 2 easy things that you can incorporate into your training to get those biceps to grow. And I will see you next video.